I got some tea to spill, so if you're ready to chill, take a Jill pill.
What's going on? Welcome back to Take a Jill Pill. We're rocking and rolling. We're going. We're moving. You know, I don't know. I never know how to start this, you guys. Why do I tell you that? Because I feel like we're hanging out. I feel like a lot of you too have started sending me more audio messages like in reply. And I'm like laughing. I feel like we're having good conversation. I feel like this is going well, right? Is this going well? That's just a glimpse into how I think about everything. Like, this is going well, right? It's good, right? I don't know, second guessing it. Overthinking, you know, it's just how I roll. All right, I think it's going great. And I'm going to settle on that. I'm going to stand firm on that one. Okay, that's what I think. Please tell me it's going well. Please tell me you think so too. All right, I'm just kidding. That was my impression of Dylan from Love on the Spectrum, which I'll talk more about in a little bit. Okay, I have to tell you something real quick before we get into it. This week, I was driving around a couple different places. This happened to me twice. And, you know, I'm listening to my music or I'm listening to a podcast or whatever, and I'm kind of just doing my thing. The sun's finally out. It's spring. There's nothing I really love more than driving my car with music on when the sun's out and it's like warmish. It's still not warm, but warmish. Like, I feel alive again. Do you know what I mean? So I'm driving, and I guess maybe I speed just a little bit when I'm doing that, okay? Because I've had two people this week, random people that I've passed, other cars be like, and one was a road construction worker guy, actually not in his car. One guy was in his car, and they've given me the like, slow down, like they're so mad at me, like their hands are out and their palms are down, and they're just like, you know, Ross and Friends when he's telling everyone to like keep it down. That's what they're doing to me. But I have to be honest, like, you know, your first reaction, because the first time someone did that to me, I looked and I was going 5 over the speed limit. I was going 40 and a 35, which is still speeding, but it wasn't like I was going 90 miles an hour. You know what I mean? The second time, the guy did kind of freak out on me, and it was a work zone. I don't think of myself as a speeder, but here's the thing. You have to, like, if that happens twice to you in 1 week, you have to look at yourself. You know what I mean? And I am really struggling with this right now. My driving needs some work. I think it just needs a little work. I need a little refresher. I mean, I've been driving for, I don't know, decades, you know, and you don't have to ever take another test or be like, you know, I haven't gotten a ticket, knock on wood. You know, and I'm getting reprimanded by people, which I have to look at myself and be like, that's on me. That is on me. I think I am speeding. So I think they're totally right. And I have to, you know, I think that's growth for me, honestly, because I feel like there's a time where I would have been like, just, you know, flip the bird and be like, you slow down, buddy, you know, but I'm looking at myself. This is me. This is me like needing approval or something by someone. Like, no, I'm showing real growth here. I didn't flip them off. I was like, you know what? I was speeding. You know what? You're right about that. Anyway, I never got to have that conversation with them. So I'm telling you, okay? My friend and I have a code with each other. It's SRG, shows real growth. And it's like, if normally you would lose your mind at something and you don't, you know, and we'll say like, SRG, dude, SRG. So feel free to use that. SRG, shows real growth. I felt that this week. I don't know why I felt the need to tell you that, but I'm sort of telling on myself, right? But I'm going to stop speeding, guys. But it's just so nice to drive around when your music's on, you're just feeling it, you know? But you can go the speed limit, Jill. You can do it. Okay. Also, I was like one time with the construction guy, I was like driving and just, it's a small town. I grew up here. This is where I learned to drive. I feel very confident. That doesn't mean I should speed. I hear myself. But I was like driving past him and I was blowing a bubble because I'm loving this watermelon extra gum right now. It's just, you remember one time on here, someone asked me like, what do you do that makes you feel youthful? And I think I said eating an ice cream cone, which is true, or jumping on a trampoline, which is also true. But another thing that really makes me feel just kind of like I'm just young and free and living life is blowing a bubble with bubble gum and then just popping it. Just like blowing a bubble and it's like big in your face and you're just like, you just feel kind of nonchalant and like, whatever, I'm cool, I'm just chill. But I was blowing this bubble like right as I passed this construction worker who was like, slow down, lady, you know, and I have this big pink bubble and I'm like, sorry. And I just am like, wow, I wonder if he's got a podcast, you know, and he's talking about me like, this jerk lady was just, anyway, that's my story. Okay, I'm going to get back to it, back to the point here. Is everyone having a good week? I hope so. I did make a Trader Joe's recipe that I feel like I need to share with you guys. It's the viral 1-pan pot sticker bake. And it's like the easiest thing. I'll post about it on Instagram. But I was very proud of myself for like not just getting a pre-made Trader Joe's thing. Like I did the whole TikTok trend or whatever it is. I don't know. And it was pretty good. It's like soy sauce and curry and coconut milk and pot stickers and spinach. And I don't know, there are like 5 things. And it was really good. And it lasted me like the whole week. I'm so sick of it, actually, to be honest. But it was good. But that made me think. Somebody sent a message and they were telling me about I'm not going to say your name because I don't want to ever give away anyone, but someone sent me a message and they were like, I have to tell you about this cashier that we have at Walmart where I live. And this person doesn't have Trader Joe's. So anyway, they were at Walmart. It's a she because this is important to the story. There's a guy that's doing the cashier and he's like commenting on every single thing she buys, just like Trader Joe's do, like the Trader Joe's people do. But the problem with Walmart, she was telling me, is like, you can buy a lot more at Walmart. You know what I mean? Like anything, basically. So any sort of, hygiene products or personal products, like personal things. And he would like turn the box over and read it and be like, oh, super absorbent. This is like so inappropriate. But I was like, that guy should work at Trader Joe's. He's perfect for it. You know what I mean? But she didn't have Trader Joe's. So this guy ended up at Walmart. But anyway, that got me thinking. I feel so bad if you don't. I know that I rag on Trader Joe's sometimes because of the culture, but I feel bad if you live somewhere where you don't have access to a Trader Joe's. And here I am talking about it, wasting your time. So I think I'm going to do like a giveaway where I don't know what it's going to be yet. This is me just spitballing here, but I'm going to do a giveaway where you can enter and whoever wins, maybe a couple people, I'm going to send you a box of like my favorite Trader Joe's things that are non-perishable, obviously. But isn't that kind of fun? I think I'm going to do that. And I guess maybe you can apply whether you have Trader... No, I have an idea. You can apply and I'm either going to send you a Trader Joe's gift card or I'm going to send you a box of Trader Joe's goodies if you don't have Trader Joe's. So hang tight for that. We'll do that in the next week or so. Because I just want everyone to be able to participate. You know what I mean? So that's that. What else did I want to tell you? Oh, The Love on the Spectrum. I'm continuing to watch it. And my favorite is Dylan, because Dylan does this thing where he'll ask a question and he'll be like, do you like Trader Joe's? Please say no, please say no, please say no. Or do you like popsicles? Please say yes, please say yes, please say yes. And I really think I have a new tactic where I'm going to go to Trader Joe's and I'm going to be the person who first steps up to the thing and is like, have you tried these chocolate covered gummy bears? Please say no, please say no, please say no. And I'm just going to be super weird. And I'm going to out weird the cashier. That's my next goal. I'll never do that, you guys, because I'm too like self-conscious and shy, and I'll just go along with the shtick the way I always do. Okay. Couple other things just to keep you updated. I did buy my mom. I told you that Mary made fun of my mom's leopard pants. So I bought my mom some new shoes this week, and I bought ones that have leopard print on them just to be a jerk. But also because she'll love them, like, and they look good on her. But I'm kind of just, I told my mom, I'm like, show these to Mary. She doesn't know. So guys, I'm not proud of that, but I thought maybe you'd like that. I'll take a picture of them and show you. It's just a subtle little leopard print. You know what I mean? Because I'm keeping it real. I'm keeping it. If you're going to make fun of the leopard, I'm going all in on the leopard now. I might start wearing leopard just to kind of be a jerk. Am I a jerk? I'm a jerk who speeds. And like, what am I? I'm having a moment right now, guys. I need to really take a look inside and be like, what's wrong with you? Anyway, I do have a little grammar segment before we really get into things because I love grammar and the English language and all that. And this is one that came up this week and I have to share it because I think it's pretty funny. So I was in a meeting and someone was explaining why someone else wasn't there. And they said, oh, they're at an aunt's funeral. They had to go to an aunt's funeral. And I understand that people pronounce the word A-U-N-T as ant in a lot of places. Personally, this is the hill I will die on. The ant hill I will die on. No. Okay, wait for it. It's coming. I believe aunt is the more grammatically correct way to pronounce this. But a lot of people I know, I lived in the South forever. everyone says aunt. And so, you get used to it. But I grew up saying aunt. Like my aunt and uncle are yada yada. So I'm in this Zoom meeting and all of a sudden I just got the giggles because I was picturing these people going to an aunt's funeral, like a little tiny insect on the ground having a funeral, and they had to like fly to go to this aunt's funeral. This is how my brain works. And like, it's not funny. First of all, this is somebody died. There's going to be a lot of talk about funerals and deaths in this episode in a lighthearted way, as much as you can, but nobody died that I'm not announcing anyone died. This is just, there's a theme here. But anyway, so they're at an aunt's funeral. Okay. And they couldn't make it to the meeting, but I just was picturing this aunt, this little tiny insect funeral that they had to go to. And I got the giggles that I had to reel it in because we're on a Zoom. Like, I'm not going to start laughing that they're at a funeral. That's not funny. You know what I mean? But I'm picturing it and it's so funny to me. So I get it together. I like probably coughed or something. I don't know, hit mute to try to like get it out. Because once I start laughing at something, I can't control it. I'm the worst person ever if you are in like church or something and someone says something. One time I was in church and my dad and I were sitting together and the pastor said he meant to say the crowds were clapping for Jesus or something. The crowds were clapping, but he said the clouds were crapping. And like, I had to excuse myself like from church because I cannot, it's not that I'm making fun of like, and the guy actually, to his credit, he started laughing. He was like laughing at himself. But anyway, so I'm just not the person you want to be around when there's a little slip up like that in a funeral or church or anything like that. Don't sit next to me because I'm the worst. Okay. So I just believe that aunt, A-U-N-T, is pronounced aunt for a reason because aunt is already taken. Do you know what I mean? And also, most words in the English language, almost all of them that have AU, pronounce it ah, like haunted house. You wouldn't say a haunted house. You know what I mean? Or like audience, daughter, automotive, author. Like you get the gist. Like AU is generally pronounced ah. Not always, but generally. I know it's just a cultural thing. Most of you out there are probably like, yeah, I say aunt, because that's what you grew up with. I'm not, that's fine. It's just what it does to me is like, it wrecks me. So anyway, I had to tell someone after. So I called my best friend and I was like, or I sent her an audio message and I was like, I just had to tell you this because it was so funny, and I like to share things that are funny. And I sent her an audio message and she wrote back and was like, you have to put this on your podcast because it's like, people have to understand what you mean when you say you're like dying of laughter over this. And so I'm going to put, I saved the audio message and I'm going to put it here. It's like me being, I told you guys I'm unhinged a little bit, this is a little insane, but this is how funny I thought it was. So here's me explaining the aunt versus aunt thing in an audio message. I just found out they're at an aunt's funeral. And all of a sudden, I just like pictured a little ant like having a funeral. I'm sorry. For a little ant's funeral. And this is why I think you have to pronounce it aunt. I might be going insane. They're at an aunt's funeral. Oh my God. I haven't laughed that hard. And I had to like keep it together. But I had no one to tell that to afterwards. And I was like, she kept saying it. Whoo. Okay. I might be tired. But man, that was funny. Okay. It's just pronunciation, grammar, word. They just... I love it. They mean something to me. There's other words that are tough, like adult versus adult. I don't know. Those can go either way. Or like pajamas or pajamas. I kind of go both with that. I don't know. It just depends. But aunt and aunt for me is a no-go. I've never, and if someone says like, oh, does your aunt live near you? I can't say aunt back to them. I have to say like, oh no, my aunt and uncle live in Maine, or whatever. Welcome to Love on the Spectrum. Okay, anyway, that was just my little, I don't know why I wanted to tell you that. It's because she told me to. So, all right, guys, let's talk about today's episode. We're going to talk a conspiracy today that I'm very intrigued by. And this is people who have allegedly faked their own death. There's a handful of well-known people, celebrities mostly, who people speculate they've faked their death for whatever reason. And we're going to get into that. We're going to talk about a few that I think could possibly be true. Tupac being one of them. And then I'm going to talk about like why. What would make you fake your own death? What could get so intense or bad that that's your best option? Okay. And then for the top 5, in the same vein, I want to talk about the top 5 celebrity deaths that rocked me. Okay. You had some, right? Like there are certain situations where you found out somebody died and you're like, I don't even know them, but I am completely like for instance, Selena, if you're old enough, that's not one of my top 5, but that was a big one. Okay. But we're going to get into top 5 celebrity deaths that rocked me, shook me up. And then we've got some listener questions, of course, and the Jill pill. So that's what's on the agenda for today. And I did get a request. Someone was like, could you please add some music when you're like, all right, so that's what we're going to talk about today. Let's go. And then it needs like a segue and like da 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 da. But I don't have that music yet. So it's going to be this today. Diddly da 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 da. Okay. I don't know. I know that was terrible, but whatever. Okay. Here we go. When I was in high school, I was at a basketball tournament in Connecticut. There's a few things that happened at that tournament. I did meet Michael Bolton at a gas station, and he was in a Porsche and he was driving off and blew our team a kiss. And that was a pretty special moment. But that's not what I wanted. I just remembered that as I was saying this. At that tournament as well, we were at a mall because there's a lot of downtime to kill, when you're playing AAU basketball. So we went to the mall and we sat at the food court. And a guy was sitting across from us at the table. And I am not joking when I tell you, I'm 98% sure it was Tupac Shakur. But this was post his death, alleged death. I'm sure that you have watched the Diddy documentaries now where they get into like how Tupac and Biggie died and all of that stuff. But I don't know, because there was a big conspiracy that Tupac really didn't die, that he faked his death because there was so much going on. And so he faked it. And I think that's true because I saw him in Connecticut in the late 90s post his death. I had a picture of it somewhere. I don't know where that is now. I should go to my parents' house and dig through boxes and see if I can find that picture of Tupac. That might take me like all week. But if I can find it, I'm going to, because you're going to be like, whoa, that is definitely Tupac. For now, you just have to believe me. But because I had that experience, I've always been a little bit like, yeah, I think it's possible that these people who died in weird ways and who had reasons why maybe death was easier for them, I believe that it could happen. So here are a few that we can talk about today. The most recent one is Jeffrey Epstein. He's been supposedly spotted in Florida and somewhere around like Maryland or something recently. There's some videos. Now, I know with AI videos and everything now, it's like whatever. But if you've seen some of these videos, you're like, wow, that really does look like Epstein. And hello, that whole thing is so weird. I would not be surprised if that they faked his death for sure. There's other things I definitely don't believe about that. But anyway, don't get me started. So that's one, okay? And then we've got Princess Diana is a huge one of like people genuinely believe that she didn't actually die in that accident, that it was all staged and it was so that she could go live her life because there was no other way for her to do that. Even Prince Harry believed this for a time. I don't know where he stands on that now. This is according to my research, so it's possible none of this is correct. But this is why you're here, to hear me and my nonsense and just to think outside the box a little bit. So if you hate it, then turn me off. It's fine. Okay, so Prince Harry kind of thought that, but this is my problem with the Princess Diana one. She had kids that were like school aged. Like, why would she? I feel like she loved her kids and I don't feel like she would. This is why I don't really believe it, even though I kind of believe it. I don't think she would have left her kids and let them go through that, really. That's where I can't believe that one as much. But I do think it's possible. It's possible because there was another life she really wanted to live and wasn't able to because of the role she was in. So it would have been a good way for her to get the life she wanted. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I don't think she would do that to her kids. Another one that's pretty widespread, a lot of people think this could be true, is Elvis. Okay? Elvis, there's some weird things about how Elvis died. Some people believe like he was so constipated he died. Have you read this? This is like, I'm like, I feel like what a way to go if that's true. You know, like, man, that's terrible. It's not funny. But a lot of people believe Elvis hit the type of fame where it's like you can't even live your life. So the only option is you die and then you start over so that you can have some sort of normal life. I don't know. I mean, he could have just gotten sick of it and been like, yeah, I'm done. And I feel like back then it was much easier to pull something like that off, don't you think? Because there wasn't the technology that there is now of like, there's cameras everywhere and there's, you know, they could have just forged some documents. Nobody would have known. And Elvis is just out there living it up, you know? So I think it's possible. Another one, which is kind of, this guy is kind of in the news right now because the movie just came out, Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson was at the same level, well, probably a bigger level of fame than Elvis, probably, I don't know, pretty close, pretty comparable. And, you know, obviously had a lot of controversy surrounding him. So was he going to end up going to jail? Was he going to end up being hospitalized or like, who knows what was going to happen with him? I don't know. Guys, I'm not trying to like belittle these deaths because probably they all did die, but we're here to talk about conspiracies. So what if they didn't? Okay. What if Michael Jackson is still out there somewhere? I mean, he could have died since then in another way, I suppose. But what if he's out there just like living a totally different life? Okay. It's possible because Tupac is in Connecticut, guys, at the mall in the food court. So I'm just saying Michael Jackson could be who knows where, you know? And then there's also some crazy documentaries about Hitler, how he actually moved to like Venezuela, I think it is. It's somewhere in South America. But we're not going to get into that here. But these are some of the people. There's more. There are definitely more. But these are the most prominent conspiracies about people who may have faked their death in order to just like get out of the life that they kind of ended up in. Tupac, Elvis, Princess Diana, Michael Jackson, and Epstein. Okay, Jeffrey Epstein. Now this got me thinking, what would it take for you to fake your own death? Like what would be so bad or so hard that you would do that? Okay, there's this meme that I love. It says like, I waved to a man because I thought he waved at me. Apparently he waved to another woman. So to get out of the awkward situation, I kept my hand up and a taxi pulled over and drove me to the airport. I am now in Poland, starting a new life. Which is kind of like that's like funny, like so embarrassed. You're so embarrassed that you fake your own death and start a new life. I feel like it could take that little for me to do that. I'm just kidding. But I don't know. I think here are the reasons you would fake your own death. Okay. Obviously all these people, fame is the common denominator here. And I do think people get to a point in fame where there's just the inability to live. Like some of life's smallest pleasures, honestly, are just going to the grocery store or taking a walk, you know, or whatever, going on vacation and just jumping on a plane and heading wherever you want to go. And when you have that level of fame that is like you can't do any of that stuff, I do think it would be debilitating and exhausting. And I know there's a lot of good parts of fame and I've been really close to it. So I understand it in a way of it is really annoying for people when they can't go anywhere without being noticed and talked to. Like, because, you know, sometimes you just don't want to talk to someone. You don't want to deal with that. And fame doesn't give you that option. Like people are just going to, you know, I've been around enough of that where it's like, I'm sorry to bother you during your dinner, but like, can I get a picture and all of that? Not for me, but people I was with. And it's exhausting. And people will say, well, they signed up for that when they got famous. And it's like, I kind of disagree with that. I think nobody deserves to be bothered that much. And there's people like that have the really high levels of fame, like Britney Spears or Justin Bieber or people like that. I understand when they just lose it, like the paparazzi or whoever. I get that because it must be so exhausting. And so I can see people with that level of fame being like, you know what? It's not worth it anymore. I could figure this out, pretend I died, start over, maybe get a little plastic surgery, whatever, move somewhere else and just live a totally different life. I think that would be appealing in a certain way. It would take a lot to pull it off, okay? This is why with every conspiracy, it's hard to fully believe these conspiracies because a lot of people have to kind of be in agreement to keep it under wraps. And people aren't that good at keeping secrets. So I don't know, but I do think fame's one reason. Also, I think if you were getting like stalked to a scary point, like you had a stalker and they couldn't, or maybe multiple stalkers, because I feel like hopefully they would be able to get one stalker under control. But these stories where people end up in people's houses and stuff like that, like in famous people's houses, and they're just like stalking them all the time. I feel like I can see if you're famous, you're like, yep, I'm done with that. So what do we need to do? And then the other reason I think you would fake your own death is if you committed a crime that you're not going to get away with. You know what I mean? Now the onus does fall a little bit more on the person here than the fame situation, because why'd you commit that crime? But I think it makes sense. If someone commits a crime, they're going to get caught. They're not going to be able to get away with it. The best option, if they don't want to live in jail, fake your death, dude. Fake your death. And that's it. I kind of get it. I think, it's the only option. And I like the idea of this theory of people faking their death because it's kind of exciting. Like if they pull it off, good for them. If Elvis is out there, well, I don't know how old he would be now, but let's go with Princess Diana. If she's out there like living on some island with the love of her life, and I keep coming back to her kids. I don't know if I can handle that one. Let's say Michael. Well, he had kids too. I just feel like, okay, Tupac, did he have kids? Probably. Anyway, if Tupac's out there just living his best life right now in Connecticut, I feel like the only problem with that is wouldn't he go to like the Maldives or something? That's where I would go. Oh, that's where I want to live actually. But anyway, if someone can pull that off and let's say they fake their death, the whole thing goes on, they get the money they need. It's like a great movie. It's almost like a heist, you know what I mean? And they go and they sail forever into the sunset and maybe they bring a few people with them because you have to, like you're not going to go, live on an island literally and figuratively, but good for them, dude. Get yours. You know what I mean? You have put up with whatever for so long. I'm okay with you faking your death. Okay, that's all. That's all I want to say about it. I think it would be really hard to pull off these days because there's too much information out there on everyone. I don't think you could fake your death as easily now. So if it's still happening, kudos. But more than likely, the people who have faked their deaths, mostly that's in the past now, because I think there's going to have to be different ways to go about this if you really want to start a new life. These are the things I think about, guys. What would you do? What would it take for you to fake your death and start a new life? Like, would it take a lot? There are days where I'm like, you know what? I am just annoyed enough right now at this project I'm working on or whatever. I'm thinking about it. No, I'm just really kidding, but it's fine, guys. I'm doing great. If I get pulled over for speeding and I have to go to jail and I disappear, I don't know, guys. Just know that it's possible. It's possible that I'm in the Maldives living my best life with Tupac Shakur. Okay. Because I was thinking about that, I started to think about like, why does it bother us so much when celebrities die? Why is that such a big, impactful thing? Have you guys seen those videos where kids will, like adult kids or, teenage kids will tell their parents, like, they'll do a prank where like, oh my gosh, Taylor Swift died. And the parents react. It's really funny, actually. But why do celebrity deaths affect us so much? Because we don't know them, but we feel like we do. And I think it's part, like when it comes to like musicians and stuff, it's like, oh my gosh, I never got to see them live, or I'll never get to hear another song by them again. Like Prince, we'll never hear another Prince song other than the ones we already have. That's sad. But I feel like we're kind of obsessed with it. Like when a celebrity dies, it rocks our whole world. Okay. So I'm going to give you the top 5 celebrity deaths that rocked my world when I found out. that kind of messed with me. Okay, so number 5 is Matthew Perry. This is pretty recent, just in the past couple years, but I mean, Friends, you guys know I love Friends. And Matthew Perry, Chandler, was probably my favorite character. Just the sarcasm and I just loved him. I just think he's great. And he was just kind of a tortured soul in a lot of ways. He was an addict and it's tough. Like I felt like he was my friend, because Friends carried me through so many different seasons of my life. It's been on since I was in junior high or something. And I rewatched it a million times. So you feel like you know them. And he was young, he wasn't old. So it was unexpected and shocking and sad. And that one did. It really got me for a few days, like you can't believe it. Number 4, this is kind of, is this depressing anyone? I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but number 4 in celebrity deaths that really rocked me, Kobe Bryant. That was tragic in so many ways. One, because his daughter also died, and that was like just too much to bear. And the helicopter, it's just, guys, again, helicopters, no go on the helicopters. But Kobe Bryant is like the epitome of strength and success, and you think he's going to live forever, And so that was a huge one. I remember exactly where I was when I found out that helicopter went down, and it was like the whole day you just felt like you were in mourning, It's just weird. So that's number 4, Kobe Bryant, may he rest in peace, and Gigi, his daughter. Number 3 is Princess Diana, because I think for me what it was, because I wasn't really like super into British culture, although a lot of people are. I mean, actually, I know a lot of you guys who listen to this are from there, so I'm sure this was much bigger to you. But Princess Diana, for me, what it was is, on a personal level, like Prince William is the same age as me. So it felt like, oh my gosh, your mom can just get in a car accident like that. And I mean, obviously my mom wasn't the same, but it's like it hits you in this weird way. And all you would see are these 2 boys who are your age and going through this. And I just remember being like, and it was just, I mean, she was the epitome of class, and beauty. And I mean, she was a princess, That's wild. You just don't think of people like that. And she was young. So I guess a lot of these do have to do with age. These people all died too young, if you will. So Princess Di, number 3. Is she dead? I don't know. But if she is, that one really rocked me. All right. Number 2, Michael Jackson. I know we've already talked about these 2 people. Michael Jackson, I remember we were in rehearsals in Nashville and Jason Halbert sent a text. It was like, Michael Jackson died. It was in June. I remember. I just like can remember where I was driving and I was like, no, that's a prank or something. And that was like, what? I don't think anyone believed that for a little while because again, another royalty, he's basically royalty. And you're just like, how did he die? No, that's not possible. But he did. And I think, and I don't know what the truth is with Michael Jackson. I've watched all the documentaries. I haven't seen the new movie yet, although I want to. I don't know, guys. I don't know what I really think happened with him and what did or did not go down. Maybe that's not the best term, but whatever happened with Michael Jackson, like I want to believe he was a good person, and wasn't doing things that he shouldn't be, but I don't know. But anyway, that one really did rock me. All right, and here's number 1. This one we haven't talked about yet at all. Whitney Houston. When Whitney Houston died, I might have cried. Like I might have truly cried. It was just where I was in life and some things. I was touring and in the music industry when Michael Jackson and Whitney Houston died. And it felt very close. I'd never met her obviously, but man, she was the voice of my childhood for sure. And she was like your mother, she was just like the mother of everyone. And nobody ever sang like her. Nobody ever will again. That's what I believe. I think she was like, I can't believe I haven't talked about her vocally before when I'm talking about like top 5 singers. I don't know if I've done top 5 singers, but gosh, Whitney Houston. Okay. So that was a big one. That one, I was on the bus. I remember when I found that out and it was during the Grammys. And so a lot of people I knew were like at that party or at that event where all of that went down, that hotel. So that felt very close. I remember I did cry. I'm pretty sure I cried. And for a few days, I remember feeling like super depressed about that one. I don't know, guys. I never met her. I never met any of these people that died, but they all like really rocked me. So those are my top 5. Matthew Perry, Kobe Bryant, Princess Di, Michael Jackson, Whitney Houston. There are some other ones, obviously, that like kind of hit you hard, like Robin Williams. That was a sad one. Or Betty White, that one made everyone, but they were kind of older, and not that it makes it better, but I just remember those were tough, but I don't know, guys. Celebrity deaths, why do they affect us? I don't know. I don't know if I'll ever know, but they do. All right, let's kind of pick it up a little bit here. I feel like there's a lot of talk about like death and dying, and we don't need to hang on there. Okay, so let's move to listener questions. What is something you wish you liked, but you just don't? Love that question. And here it is. I do some thinking about this because I want to give you like a really solid answer here. And here's something I wish I liked, but I just don't. Group workout classes. I just really want to, because I played sports. I like the team aspect of things. I think it's easier sometimes to do stuff when you're doing it with other people, but I despise group workout classes, especially hot yoga. Is maybe my literal nightmare. I've been in a hot yoga class with multiple people. They're all strangers. It was like my first time. A couple friends and I went. So I did have a little support, but like you're hot and you want to die. Why am I still talking about death? You just are like, it's the most brutal thing. And I wanted to throw up, and then everyone's like around you and smelling and breathing, and a cycle class. I don't like that because people are like whooping, and I don't know. I think it's probably my introversion, but I really want to like it because I feel like it's good for you to be around people and like it's like motivating, but I just don't. I wish I liked group workout classes, but I don't. I just don't. Okay. Next question. What is the last movie you watched? The last movie I watched was The Housemaid, which I read the book a while back, and I kept meaning to watch the movie, and I just didn't. I didn't make it into the theaters to see it, and then I kept being like, I'm going to just rent it on Amazon, and I never did. So finally, a couple weeks ago, actually, I went to my friend's house, and a few of us rented it and watched it together because we had all read the book. That was a good movie, but I'm going to say the book was better. To me, it was better, but the movie was good. It's intense, but I'd recommend it. I recommend the book first, The Housemaid. You've probably already read it if you're listening to this. Okay. And also I was trying to think like, what was the last movie I watched in the theater? I don't know that I can remember. I don't know the last time. It might've been like a Downton Abbey movie several years ago. I haven't been to the movies forever, I don't think. And now I'm like kind of itching to go. I might go see the Michael Jackson movie just to tie it all together. I don't know. I just like don't go to the movies anymore, but I like to. All right, next question. What's your favorite condiment? I'm trying to pick some of the questions that are a little lighter this week, because it's been a little deep. It's been a little dark with all the death talk. Okay, so my favorite condiment. Have I already done this one? No. The problem here is there are so many categories of condiments, you know what I mean? Because it's like, if it's Asian food, I do like ponzu sauce a lot, but I wouldn't pick that as my favorite condiment of all time. And then ketchup is kind of the obvious. If you like ketchup, I mean, that's kind of the most standard condiment. But is it my favorite? I don't know. Ranch? I mean, ranch is hard to go wrong with. Did you grow up in a ranch or a blue cheese family? I feel like you grew up in one or the other, usually, if you're American. I grew up in a blue cheese family, to be honest. And I like blue cheese. Like, I like blue cheese and ranch. But I feel like I always just kind of did blue cheese because, like, my family got blue cheese. But I think I prefer ranch, if I'm being honest. I do prefer ranch, if I'm being honest. It's taken me a lot of years to get there, but okay, I still haven't answered. My favorite condiment, it might be Chick-fil-A sauce, I do love Chick-fil-A sauce. That or ranch, I don't know, guys. These are the tough questions that I really like. This is probably why I'm not sleeping at night, because I'm like, man, I really need to think about my top condiment. Okay, it's either ranch or ketchup or Chick-fil-A sauce. Actually, all three is a great, like if you're having chicken tenders and fries and you have all three of those, but I do like honey mustard too. Condiments are the best. I should have done this for top 5, actually. Did I do a top 5 condiments? I don't think so. Wow, guys. Wow. Let's be done with listener questions. We're a little unhinged today. That's okay. It's all right. It's time for your Jill pill of the week. I always try to think of something that's top of mind for me that might be relevant to the listeners here, to you guys. I think we're all going through similar things, in life. It looks a little different for everyone, but I think I think we're more alike than we're different. So here's what's on my mind this week. Take a risk on something you've been sort of debating this week, okay? I'm going to give you some examples. Some are bigger, some are smaller. Maybe you've just wanted to like dye your hair, cut it, do something like that. Maybe you've wanted to apply for a different job, maybe move to a different state or country or even just town. Maybe you want to tell someone your feelings towards them. Maybe you might be like holding that in and you're like, I don't want to say it because everything, and maybe it's time to just take a little risk. You know what I mean? Or maybe you really want to do something creatively, like a project that you're like putting off, you know, for whatever reason. So my Jill pill for you this week is just to take a small risk or a big risk on something you've been kind of debating in your head. Just make a decision and take the risk. Okay? Because life is short. Listen, we're all going to die or fake our deaths, one or the other. And it's like just the time is ticking. And so we're not going backwards. We're not in a dress rehearsal. This is all going forward, everything. So just take the risk. I mean, take a calculated risk if you need to. But if you've been debating it, you know what it is. You know when I'm saying that, what it is for you. And I know what it is for me. So take a risk. Take a risk. Take a chance. Make a change. All right. Is that even in the lyrics? I don't know. All right, guys. That's all I got for you today. Okay. I'd love to hear if you think any of these people really did fake their deaths. And I'm going to try to find that Tupac picture for you because it's really going to change your mind about it, I think. Anyways, thank you guys for listening. If you want to find me, I'm at JiPi Music on Instagram and TikTok. Also, Take a Jill Pill podcast on those and takeajillpill.com. And you can always shoot me a message, shoot me an email, send me a voice memo. I've loved getting voice memos from you guys. It's like so fun. I just sit there and laugh. I'm like, oh, this feels reciprocated. You know what I mean? So send me a voice memo if you want. In my DMs on Instagram, you can send them. And yeah, I'm just grateful you're here. Subscribe and leave a review or a rating if you so desire. And we'll be back next week. I don't know yet what we're going to cover. Let me know if you have any ideas because I want to talk about what you want to talk about. Thanks for listening. Until next time, be good. Take a Jill pill. Bye.